What's going on, guys? What's going on? What's going on? I'm live. Yes, we are live. It's AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. We're actually doing a rare Dynamite live watch along, which I don't usually do because it's TV, and TVs, when you do like TV watch alongs, I remember at one point I was going to do that. This is like really early days of doing the channel. I was going to do like watch alongs for every show. So when like Raw or SmackDown or NXT or whatever, I was going to do like live watch-alongs, and then I just thought I thought legitimately I was going to like pass out every time because it was just late every night, and especially like when you have those shows that are just not worth watching. It's just really not worth watching and just are tough and tiring. So we just really do the watch-alongs for pay-per-views or big events like this. And this is essentially a pay-per-view that's airing on free TV live. So it's a big deal, and it's very exciting. I'm very excited about what's to come. I'm very excited about what's to come tonight. So that's why we're doing the watch-along. I'm thinking of doing a watch-along Friday for Rampage as well, to be honest with you. I'm thinking of doing a watch-along for Rampage on Friday because, again, essentially what AEW are doing tonight, and it is going to be taped. Rampage is going to be taped tonight. But essentially, they're holding a pay-per-view at Arthur Ashe Stadium, and they're just going to cut it in half. They're going to do the first 2 hours live, and the second 2 hours are going to be on tape, and we're going to see it. But they're holding a pay-per-view, essentially, and it's going to air on free TV, and we've got some massive matches for it. What I have got as well, this is pretty cool. So, obviously, I can see your comments, but I can get them on the screen now. So I can see Danny Torres there. It says, hi. Darth Thor says pay-per-view quality TV. Look at this. We're always evolving. We're always evolving here on the channel. So we have that. So we can get your comments up on the screen. Of course, super chats are open as well. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and smash a like on the like button too. Let me turn that off. We're about 20 minutes or so away from Dynamite going on the air. What is interesting about it as well is every time I do like a pay-per-view watch-along for WWE or AEW, is that you never know really how long it's going to last. You think it's probably going to last like 3 hours or something like that. And especially with AEW, then it goes like 4 hours, 5 hours. And for me, particularly over here in the UK, that can get pretty late. That can get pretty late. And it's been a long day anyway. But you can't miss events like this. You can't miss events like this. And it's going to be a big one. We have matches announced for the show, so we'll get into the matches that have been announced for tonight's show. Again, we've got about 20 minutes or so before we go on the air, or before it goes on the air live on TNT or on FITE TV, if you're like me and in the UK. So we have, obviously right there, Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega. Reportedly, this isn't the main event. I just saw, actually, before I went live, I just saw that apparently the main event is actually going to be the Women's Championship match, which is super interesting if that is actually accurate. I'm just checking now, because if it's going to be the Women's Championship match that's the main event, that's fascinating. That's certainly something I don't think people would have thought. And as someone myself who's been a big advocate of AEW, really pushing the women's division, giving them opportunities to succeed, putting them in the spotlight, no bigger spotlight than arguably their biggest ever show. I mean, let's face it. Tonight, I've been saying this on all of the videos I've been doing recently, I expect this to be AEW's biggest viewership audience of all time. Their record is 1.4 million. That was a debut episode of Dynamite back in October of 2019. They got close right after All Out. They got very close right after All Out. But I expect this one to be the one. I expect this one to be the one that breaks the record. I really do. So this is going to be big. And if the main event is for the Women's Championship, talk about a position. Talk about a position being put in. So let's see if I can see this report. I swear I saw it just before I was going to come on the air. So Jason Solomon, of course, is the Solomon Monster Sounds Off podcast. Real great podcast. Says, reading that Britt Baker against Ruby Soho will main event tonight's Grand Slam show. If true, what a spot for these two to be in. Hearing a lot of excitement from friends in the building. So that's what he's saying, which is certainly interesting. We can see the chats up as well. Like I said, I can get them on the screen, which is cool. So D-Star says D.M.D. Let me make that a bit bigger. If I see if I can make that a bit bigger. There you go. D-Star says D.M.D. Also says championship matches should always be the main event, regardless of gender. I agree with you, D-Star. Let's face it, Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson's a massive match. It's a dream match. but it's not a world championship match. If you're going to claim that the women's championship is a legitimate world championship, then it should be the main event. I agree with you. That's logic, and that's equality, and that's what you've got to aim for in pro wrestling, in my opinion. So I agree with you right there. Lion 2012 says, peace Owen and Room back again. Big show tonight. I wonder if a big debut occurs tonight. Keep up the good work. Well, I appreciate that, Lion. Appreciate everyone that's joining us so far. Be sure to smash a like on the like button and subscribe button right hand corner. As far as big debuts possibly happening tonight, who could that be? I mean, I don't know. I mean, there were rumors, wasn't there, about Bray Wyatt possibly having a different kind of non-compete clause, but I don't think there's any validity in that one. He's not showing up to the end of October, which if anything suits him. I mean, there's no one more Halloween than Bray Wyatt, right? And whatever his new character would be. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I don't think Bray Wyatt. Previously the plan might have been Ric Flair. That ain't happening now. Ric Flair ain't showing up tonight on Dynamite, no doubt about it. He might have been initially in the plans, but that's not happening now. Maybe a Hangman Page, maybe a Hangman Page return. You know, I'm not sure how much of a surprise that would be, but certainly would be interesting to see if he returns. And I guess that could factor into the Omega Danielson match. Maybe also that they didn't want to go with the main event being Danielson and Omega, because in reality we're not going to see a winner. There is a very realistic possibility that, given that time limits are an actual thing in All Elite Wrestling, we could see absolutely a situation where Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson go to a time-minute draw. So that's a real possibility. Andrew Pollard, one of the moderators, in with us tonight. Appreciate you, Andrew. Says, hi, Owen. So glad to watch Grand Slam Dynamite with you and all the other fans in the chat. Going to be a blowout. Certainly is going to be. Appreciate you, Andrew. Darth Thor says, Hangman return, I hope. Also, what do you think of the TNT title equivalent for the woman? Yes, this was a story that was reported by Andrew Zarian of the Matt Man podcast. Reported it a couple of hours or so ago. I've been quite busy tonight with United View stuff. Been doing the post-match stream, been doing some social media stuff. But I did see that report by Andrew Zarian, said that a new title is coming to AEW soon, and it's going to be a secondary championship. They don't like to call them mid-card titles, but that's what it is. It's a mid-card title. But it's a secondary championship for the women's division. What do I feel about it? To be honest with you, if I was going to put another championship into AEW, it would be the trios championships that have been rumored. I mean, those trios championships have been rumored all the way back to, goodness me, right before the pandemic. You know, when they had Death Triangle come together. Reportedly, the reason that Death Triangle came together is because they planned on implementing trios championships, and they were probably going to be one of the first champions, along with the likes of Jurassic Express. At the period of time, you started to see all of these trios starting to pop up in AEW, and that was because that was the plans. Of course, the pandemic, like with everything, changed those plans. But I think it's interesting because I think if they go with a secondary women's championship, the reason they might want to go in it, one, it's invested in the women's division, which I'm very happy to see, so I don't have an issue with that. I think the other reason why they might try to go with that is because no other company really has that right now. And if you're trying to be different, which AEW does try to do, not just in terms of booking philosophy, but so many different ways, they tried to be different. I wouldn't be surprised if they thought, you know what, trios championships are going to come down the line, but what can we do in the immediate future that really people haven't or no other companies really doing, a mainstream company? You know, you could go for women's tag titles, but WWE have got them. Impact Wrestling has got them. You could go for trios championships, but Ring of Honor have them. No other company's got that secondary women's championship, and maybe that's why they're trying to go into that direction, but that certainly is going to be interesting. D-Star says, I doubt there'll be a debut. These big debuts are kind of getting too repetitive now. Well, I think we're going to have to get a bit used to it because there are plenty are going to come in the future. In the immediate future, probably not. But Bray Wyatt's going to happen this year. It's going to happen in October, early November. Next year, we're going to have to anticipate Kevin Steen, coming into AEW, I think, as well. It's going to be in January. Sami Zayn, there's a lot of discussion about when his contract's up, but I would think, again, he falls into that category of someone that AEW will want and will be interested in. So these big debuts are going to be happening every couple of months or so, I think. So whilst they might get a bit repetitive, they are going to be happening, I think, in bunches, and we're going to have to get used to them. And the AEW roster is going to get stronger and stronger and go from strength to strength, certainly. Roshan says, cheers, Owen, hoping to see Cody lose tonight and turn heel. Well, that would be my ideal scenario. I agree with you. I've mentioned it several times in the AEW news videos we've done here on the channel that for me, and my concern is that Cody's as close to Triple H in the 2003, 2002 kind of period, and Jeff Jarrett in TNA in that period of time as well. Triple H was never in charge of WWE, but certainly had sway, and Jeff Jarrett was in charge of TNA during that time period of the guy who's in power. He picks his feuds. He maybe will put them over, but he will get his win back, brother, and he will make sure that he stays in his position because he's Cody Rhodes. He's a big star, damn it. And that's fine when the star you're facing, I don't want to say isn't worth putting over, but to the point of they've got something really special in Malakai Black, really special. And you would have thought with the damage that was kind of done to him, certainly towards the end of his WWE career, that might have been a difficult turnaround. They managed to turn it around so quickly, and his character's just as compelling as it once was in WWE, maybe even more so. And it doesn't work for me if he loses tonight and we go to, well, Cody got to win and Malakai Black got to win. No. Malakai Black should do exactly what he did last time. He should beat him in just as quick a time, maybe even quicker. And Cody Rhodes should tease retiring once again and go, you know what? There's 20,000 people here tonight. 20,000. It's the largest audience ever that we've ever performed in front of here in AEW. It's the largest crowd ever in the United States since another company did it in the Monday Night Wars opposite WWE. Maybe he even name drops WWE during his promo and he goes, you know what? You're all here because of me. AEW is here because of me. If it wasn't for me responding to a tweet by Dave Meltzer in 2017, 2018, you wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be here. And you have the nerve to boo me. I'm a big star. I'm Cody Rhodes. I've got a reality show. You know, I'm a judge on TBS. I've got celebrity friends. I'm the biggest star that this company's got, and you're booing me. I'm the reason you're here. And then just goes off on one, and then we get the Cody Rhodes heel turn that we need. I think that's the way to go. My concern is that they don't go in that direction because Cody's got to get his win back, brother. And maybe he comes up with dyed black hair this time, right? Because that's... Remember when he did that against Brody Lee? He came back with dark hair because he's evil. Well, he wasn't evil. He was serious. He's serious, Cody Rhodes at the time. And he had his hair black for like a week? He went emo Cody Rhodes for about 5 seconds, which was bizarre. Darth Thor says, I think trios should be first, then mid-card women's, also maybe a dark title just to give the up-and-comers something to fight for. Well, I think there's obviously a concern about maybe putting on too much. Maybe putting on too much. I just realized I'm just on Bryan Danielson the whole time. I was going to do like predictions, and then I just sort of started interacting with the chat, because I think that's more fun. I like interacting with you guys. Yeah, I think there's a concern of maybe too many titles and making sure the titles they do have mean something. I agree. I think the trios one probably is more pressing, especially when you've got so many people on the roster. At least it would give all of these factions something that they would be fighting for. The mid-card women's one I do think has a place, but they need to have more than one match on Dynamite, more than one women's match on Dynamite. Bit of a problem. Maybe that forces their hand. Maybe that's why they would do it. The dark title was an interesting one. I don't know if they would have titles that are show-specific. That's when you start getting into brand split territory, which they're not going to go into, certainly for a while. But, it's interesting. There's so much growth there, isn't there? D-Star says, good point, mate. I meant there's just a few big ones in a very short space of time. It's true. I totally understand your point. There have been a lot of names coming in to AEW over the summer, certainly. And if you look at a name like an Andrade, right? Andrade El Idolo felt like he kind of got lost in that shuffle. He made his big debut on one of those Friday night Dynamites, and that was during a time which was a difficult time slot anyway, so less people were watching. Then you had other names come in, like Malakai Black, like Bryan Danielson, like CM Punk, and just people have already sort of forgotten, shall we say, a little bit about Andrade. And it hasn't helped because of the way he came in, and that segment didn't really pop, and the Vicky Guerrero stuff, and then the Chavo Guerrero stuff, and I think there were plans for him to be managed by Ric Flair, which now aren't happening, so it does feel like his kind of AEW run's already a bit snake bit, but you can turn things around. No doubt about that. Katrina says, "Hi Owen, I'm so glad to watch the best TV show so far from AEW Dynamite." Well, it's a big show tonight. Certainly it is a big night tonight. Darth Thor says, "Cody should lose faster than the first." I agree. I think this should play into something. There should be a bigger story here. And maybe it doesn't involve Cody turning heel, but it shouldn't be as straightforward as Cody takes his time off like he did last. Because that's the thing. If Cody comes back and wins, they just do the same story they did last year. Except swap out Brody Lee and put Malakai Black in there. Because that's what it was. Last year, Brody Lee destroyed Cody Rhodes, won the TNT Championship. Cody Rhodes went away. He came back, dyed his hair black, faced Brody in that dog collar match, which unfortunately was Brody's last match. You know, rest in peace, Brody. And that was it. And then they moved on. Obviously, we don't know really what those plans were. They might have had plans to revisit it, maybe, afterwards, but it never happened, obviously. But still, if they do the same thing this year, they're just repeating the same storyline. And they're going to have to do it every year, because however long that TBS Go Big Show lasts, he's going to have the summer off every single time. So what's he going to do? Lose to someone every sort of summer, disappear, come back and get his win back, brother. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. It's the Codyverse. That's what's just been bizarre with Cody Rhodes for the last sort of 9 months or so, is that Cody distanced himself from the elite. You have the super elite existing on Dynamite, the Bucks, Kenny Omega, now Adam Cole, and them doing their thing, Gallows, Anderson as well. And they're doing their thing, and Cody's just in this different side of AEW, different side of Dynamite, and he's doing his stories that for me just don't pop. They don't. They're just weird, and they feel very self-serving. Whether it's, I'm going to feud with QT Marshall because that's what people want to see. No, they don't. I'm going to have the Nightmare Factory split in half, and we're going to have Nightmare Factory Civil Warfare. Then you've got the Factory, and you've got the Nightmare Factory, and then I'm going to beat QT Marshall like 10 different times on Dynamite, and it's like, who cares? Nobody. And then when he was going up against Anthony Ogogo, and it was like, I'm a fan of Anthony Ogogo just prior to him becoming a wrestler, because of his boxing background, and I hope to see him succeed in pro wrestling because of his trials and tribulations he's had in his boxing career, his eye injury, and all that kind of stuff. And but then it got bizarre where Cody suddenly turned it into, I'm now going to be the American Dream like my father, and had that weird, just odd promo, and the match just didn't really work at Double or Nothing. And again, it's this kind of weird. Again, it's the Codyverse. So I wish I could recall who actually put it on one of the videos I did, but they said the Codyverse needs to end, and I'd never heard it actually be named that before. The Codyverse. I thought that's so true. It's so true. He's in this separate universe in AEW, and it's very strange. But Katrina thinks Cody should win. This time, Cody win. Darth Thor says it's awesome that AEW is doing the Owen tournament. Awesome. I love it. I'm really, really happy for that. The only thing I was really disappointed in that had nothing to do with the announcement. It had to this just weird tribalism that exists in pro wrestling, and those people that had some just horrible takes. I mean, look, social media exists with hot takes, but some of the people that were saying like, oh, Owen Hart's a WWE guy, and Tony Khan's just doing this to spite Vince McMahon. How dare he? Tony Khan's trying to be a good guy. He's not a good guy. How dare he? It's just to get back at WWE. It's like, are you for real? It's got nothing to do with WWE. It's about honoring Owen Hart. It's about Martha Hart, who, for better or for worse, whether you like her or you don't, but if you watch that Dark Side of the Ring episode, you can kind of sympathize with her a lot, why she probably wouldn't want to work with WWE. And she goes, look, I do want to honor Owen Hart. I do want fans to be able to buy Owen Hart merchandise. I do want Owen Hart to have an action figure. I do want Owen Hart to be in a video game and all this kind of stuff. I want that to happen. I just don't want the company that, in my opinion, and this isn't me, Owen, I'm playing Martha Hart here, but in Martha Hart's opinion, is liable for his death or liable for the reason he's not around anymore. Why would I want them to profit off him? Why would I want that? I don't. I hold them accountable, and I can never forgive them. She lost her husband. Her children lost their father because of that. So why would she want the WWE to make merchandise or WWE to have licensing deals and create action figures? Of course she wouldn't want that. It's ridiculous. And again, and some people can say, forgive and forget, but we're talking about someone dying here. So I can totally empathize with that. And this, by all accounts, has been in the works for a while. And like with anything, because the Dark Side of the Ring people have spoken about how they had to kind of, win Martha Hart's trust over. I would assume AEW did the same thing. And I'm just glad that Owen Hart is being discussed again. I'm glad that Owen Hart is being remembered again. Part of the problem, and I said this on the news video when we spoke about it, is that not that Owen Hart was ever forgotten, because he wasn't, but part of the problem when it came to Owen Hart was that he's kind of lost. He's kind of lost because WWE doesn't talk about him, because they don't want to talk about him, because if they talk about him, they have to bring up that night again, and maybe they uncover some stones that they don't want to have uncovered. It ended up in litigation, and they don't want to talk about that. So they don't really talk about him, and he's not going to end up in the WWE Hall of Fame, all that kind of stuff. So he kind of gets lost, and he shouldn't be. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, one of the best wrestlers of all time. And for me, he deserves to be remembered, and he deserves to be discussed, and he deserves to be honored. And if it means it's got to happen in another company, so be it. So be it. It's great for fans of Owen Hart, which I am. So those people that turned it into a WWE versus AEW thing just need to have something better to do, frankly. Not everything is WWE versus AEW. Not everything is tribalism. Not everything is about that. It's not about WWE versus AEW. It's about honoring Owen Hart and being able to have Owen Hart participate in pro wrestling again, even though he's not with us. It's tremendous. It's tremendous news. And, it's so silly, those people that turn it into that. And their takes are just, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't get why they just can't. Don't get me wrong. I bet some people really don't like AEW and they go, it's not for me. Fine. Absolutely fine. I would not hold that against someone. What I do find almost offensive, shall we say, is those people where it's like they will just bash you for it. But Dynamite's starting, so my rant is over. So I don't have to be moaning for the next couple of minutes. But here we go. We're live. That actually snuck up on me rather quickly. Look at that stadium, man. $20,177. Look at that crowd. Look at that crowd. That's awesome. Legit over 20,000. They sent WWE. WWE does the whole. It was 20,000. In reality, it's like 15. This is legit. This is legit 20,000. They've just confirmed that the main event is going to be the Women's Championship. The first match of the show is going to be Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson. It's happening right now. Hoo, 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 hoo. It's coming up next, guys. Here comes Bryan Danielson. Listen to that pop. It's happening. Bryan looks in great shape. He's not doing the yes chants. He's not doing the yes chants because it's Justin Roberts just announced him as the American Dragon. That's awesome. Listen to that crowd. Look at that stadium. Yeah, he said he's not going to do the whole yes chants because WWE can't do anything about it, to be honest, anyway. Here comes Kenny Omega. Here comes Kenneth Olivier, the one-winged angel himself. I've ruined that. That's good. There's Kenny Omega. Don Callis in his traditional pink suit. He loves it. Justin Roberts, like, he's going to pass out. 30-minute time limit. This could go all the way. Legit, this could go all the way. This could go all the way to the time limit. That's my kind of prediction for this one. Is that this is going to? Is this going to go all the way? Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega. It's just about to happen inside of an AEW ring. Kenny shaved the beard as well. This is it, guys. This is it. This is a dream match. This is something else. It's happening. Bow has rung. They're facing off. The crowd are going nuts, as you would expect. Go on, I literally. This is goosebumps stuff. This is nuts. This is incredible. Look, this is history. This is history. This is history stuff, guys. I'm very excited. I think we're live again. I have no idea what happened there. We just completely cut out. Which is obviously completely what you would hope to happen. Oh, that's just typical, isn't it? Absolutely typical. Just cuts out completely. But I think we are live. We are live. We are live. Good. I have no idea what happened there, guys. Apologies. But we're all good. We're all good. D-Star says this is going to be a 30-minute draw. It's so obvious. I should switch this, actually. Such a beautiful sight. Love the screen. Also the floor suit. They should keep this forever. I just missed the first 2 minutes of that because just the whole system decided to crash, which again is exactly what you're looking for when you're doing a stream of arguably the biggest AEW show of all time. Classic. We got some submission wrestling starting this one out. Bryan Danielson just kicked Kenny Omega there. Of course, it's Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson starting this one out. Main event is going to be for the AEW Women's World Championship. Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho. Kenny Omega with a shoulder tackle there. Nice. Omega's going to hit the ropes. Danielson with a leapfrog. Oh, beautiful cartwheel by Kenny Omega. Counters what Bryan Danielson was going for. Oh, big shot by Kenny Omega. Interesting to see if people will give it the woo. If they're going to give it the woo after the chop. I think they're probably going to maybe not go with that. Look at Bryan Danielson's chest already. D-Star says Bryan hasn't wrestled since April or May, if I'm correct. He might be a little bit rusty. He hasn't wrestled, of course, since the Roman Reigns match on SmackDown for the Universal Championship. Not bad, right? Not bad to have your last match be for the Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. The next one against Kenny Omega inside of Arthur Ashe Stadium in front of 20,000 fans. Over 20,000 fans. So we've got a test of strength going on right now. Danielson manages to kick out of it. Now Danielson's got control. Using the hand for leverage. Or snapping the wrist. Kenny Omega's grabbing the hat. Down goes Omega. Ooh. Bryan Danielson just steps on the elbow of Kenny Omega there. Oof. Bounces Omega off the top turnbuckle. Obviously, the expectations are high here as well. I think we've got to remember that. Expectations are going to be very high. They're still getting big woos on the chops. And another one. Every kick's getting a yes. Every woo's getting every chop's getting a woo. Kenny Omega's chops are getting boos. Crowd's going crazy. Kenny Omega sent over the top to the floor on the outside. Bryan Danielson going to go for a tope suicida. Looks like a suicide dive through the... Oh, tope suicida. Danielson landed rough on that floor. Ouch. It's got to hurt. Look at that. Oh. Bryan's chest already is just like beet red. Beet red. Oh, Kenny Omega just thrown into the ring post. You get the I still definitely feel like this is going 30 minutes. Bryan Danielson goes to the top ropes. Bang! Knee over the right arm of Kenny Omega. Or it might be left arm, actually, of Kenny Omega. I know I've said it several times, but Bryan's chest is like beet red. Beet red at this point. So pretty damn painful, if you ask me. He does look to be in great shape, though, certainly. It's been all Bryan Danielson so far. I need to drop my phone. Isn't this just mad that this event is not WWE? An event this big in front of 20,000 people. Remember, this came from. He's going to. Kicks on the elbow once again of Kenny Omega does Bryan Danielson. I'm not sure what Jim Ross is talking about. He just said Malakai, not Malakai. Malakai Black. A rake to the eyes by Kenny Omega. Oh, Omega with another big chop to Bryan Danielson. Danielson's chest is beet red already. And again. Interesting pace to this one so far. Interesting pace. Omega's got Danielson in the corner now. Foot just on his throat. Just trying to... essentially, it was a choke. Certainly a slower pace to start this one, which is always, for me... whenever any match starts with a slower pace like this, implies to me that they are going to be building. And it implies to me that this one might be going on for a while. They're going to take the full 30, I feel like. And then this will play up to... we'll come back to this because we haven't found out who's the best. Another big shot by Kenny Omega. And again, Don Callis is just chatting to people at ringside. He's talking smack, which you love to see. Man, look at Bryan's chest, man. Now they're just trading chops. Bryan Danielson doing a couple of chops of his own. Kenny Omega reverses the Irish whip. Oh, knee to the gut. Kitchen sink. And a kick to the back. I don't know if we've had a pinfall attempt yet. Oh, and then just knees to the back by Kenny Omega. I must say the staging for Dynamite tonight does look really good. Got a Macho Man Randy Savage cosplayer in that crowd, which is awesome to see. Omega once again, bang, elbow across the back of the head of Bryan Danielson. History of concussions, of course, is why he had to retire back in 2016, returned in 2018 after being medically cleared by WWE. Right just before he was going to have his contract expire, by the way, is when that happened. Interesting. Uppercut by Daniel Bryan. I'm going to say that so many times. I'm going to say Daniel Bryan so many times. Bryan Danielson. I tell you what, it's got to be said as well. The stadium is lit beautifully. Really, really beautifully. You Can't Escape coming up by Kenny Omega. Moonsault. Oh, Bryan Danielson gets the knees up. Great sound in there as well. Different sound, but great sound nonetheless. Naomi Total Knockout says chest is more beat than that Suzuki match with Moxley. He's got paper skin, does Bryan Danielson. Oof, speaking of chops, another one. Chops and kicks. Irish whip by Danielson. And Danielson's chest is a mess. Oof. Does his reverse flip just over Kenny Omega's head and a big running clothesline. Hammer shot by Bryan Danielson. The American Dragon's trying to fire up. I tell you what, he does that like step up moonsault off the top rope and it's close. It's so close. One of these days he's going to land on someone's head. Here we go. Huge drop kick in the corner by Bryan Danielson. It's going to hit some yes kicks in the corner. Puts Omega on the top rope. I think he's going to go for a Frankensteiner maybe here. Danielson, top rope. Frankensteiner hits it. He actually caught the camera. He caught the camera that's on the ring post. And Omega kicks out at 2. Can see Bryan Danielson taking some breaths, getting some breathing in, just being like, I haven't been in the ring for, I mean, what is this? This is September. He hasn't been in the ring for 5 months. It's a serious amount of time off. Oof. Omega in the corner, beautiful flips over, goes for a beautiful Hurricane Runner of his own. Tremendous. Kenny Omega's just a different level. There really are levels to this. Kenny Omega's just tremendous. We haven't even gone to commercial yet. How mad is this? We haven't even got to commercial. Omega is going to go for his Terminator dive, it looks like. Hits the ropes, going to go for that big dive over the top rope. Oh my goodness. Just lands right on Bryan Danielson. I mean, to be honest, Omega ate shit on that one, to be honest with you. Pardon my language. And that's concrete on the floor. You can see it. Look at this. Oh my God. Omega had a horrible landing. I mean, in fairness, Bryan barely catches him. Barely catches him. Crowd are chanting, this is awesome. Naomi Total Knockout says, the Macho Man sign in the crowd is hilarious. Darth Thor says, give me 60-minute Iron Man or 2 out of 3 falls at Full Gear between these two. Katoki Crusher coming up, maybe, nope. Bryan Danielson rolls through. Omega rolls through himself, counters it. Oh, Bryanson counters it. Was going to go into a chicken wing. Hooks. Oh, cow mutilation in the middle of the ring. Bryan Danielson's got a submission. Kenny Omega. Crowd's popping. Ooh, Omega gets his foot on the bottom rope. Now Omega's got to roll to the outside. Andrew Pollard says, these guys are whipping each other on the chest so much it makes me cry. One to me, and I cry to my mom. LOL. Mate, you're not alone, Andrew. I would certainly probably be the same. Bryan Danielson stepping up on the top rope. Kenny Omega's on the entrance ramp. Oh my goodness, what a knee to the face. Bryan's whipping up the crowd into a frenzy here. Crowd's going nuts. 20,000 plus are going crazy. Danielson, oh, he's got to go for those yes kicks once again. Bang. Bang. Kenny Omega's just eating them for breakfast. Oh, Omega blocks. No way. Oh my goodness. Snapdragon suplex on the ramp. Oh my God. They've got an LED ramp that literally takes the entrance ramp to the ring. It's one of those flat ones. It's plexiglass. And Kenny Omega just hit a Snapdragon German suplex to Bryan Danielson. His head just smashed it. Oh my goodness. That was nasty. Omega actually broke up the count as well. Good psychology. Appreciate that, which people say isn't there enough in AEW. Now, Omega's walking all the way up to the top of the ramp. I'm not sure what he's planning here. Oh, he's going to go for the biggest V-trigger I've ever seen in my life, isn't he? He's going for a big run. He's running. Oh, my goodness. A huge V-trigger. That's what I said he was going for. He just nearly took Bryan Danielson's head off. And we're going to commercial. It's in picture. If you're on FITE TV like I am, you're going to be watching it on there anyway. But Bryan Danielson's just in a big problem. What a V-trigger that was. Referee's going to try and count out Bryan Danielson. 4. Count of 5. 5 seconds left. 6. 7. Danielson drops. And Omega's going to the outside. He's not going to allow this to end via countouts. And Omega looks very, very happy with himself. They're having the referee check on Bryan Danielson. Check that he's not hurt. Maybe they're certainly Bryan Danielson certainly selling the hell out of it. Oh, Omega just threw Bryan onto the table, onto the timekeeper's table. It is nasty, man. Talk about Bryan's taking some physical stuff right now. Kenny Omega's pouring water over his head. Look at him. There's one guy, is Kenny Omega, is in good shape. There's another guy, is Bryan Danielson, who's not. Man. Over Bryan Danielson. how is everyone enjoying this match so far? It's pretty crazy. Oh my goodness. Buckle bomb. Bryan Danielson's taking some proper offense here. This is nasty. Paul Turner's thinking of waving off the match, it looks like. He's trying to wake Bryan Danielson up. Omega's going to the top. Oh, missile drop kick right between the shoulder blades. Cover. Oh, Bryan Danielson kicks out at 2. Andrew Pollard says, Jesus wept after that V-trigger. It was the longest run-up you've ever seen for a V-trigger. It was nuts. Small package. Oh, kicks out at 2. Duck under by Omega. Another Snapdragon coming up. Oh, big spinning heel kick to right between the shoulder blades once again of Bryan Danielson. Omega's in control. Omega's totally in control here. Omega's going to set up for another knee right to the back of the neck and the head. Remember, Bryan Danielson has had neck problems in the past. That's why he had to vacate the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in 2014. Was because of those neck issues. He had strength issues in his hand. At one point, he thought he had to wrestle with one arm. Parts of Arthur Ashe are chanting "Fight Forever," and I agree. I certainly agree. Omega's going to go for a top rope V-trigger, it looks like. This is not going to end... Oh, it's top rope Snapdragon, I should say. If he hits it, it's over. It's game over if he hits it. Danielson slips under. Oh. Crotches Omega on the top rope. Danielson's going to climb up top. What's he got planned here? Bryan Danielson. Oh, my goodness. Avalanche, belly to back suplex from the top rope. And I tell you what, he landed Kenny Omega right on his shoulder. Man, ouch. Look at this. Oh, high and tight. Oof. Although, to be honest, Bryan Danielson himself, his arm is actually underneath Omega. So he lands on his arm. My goodness. Both men back up to their feet. Oof. Danielson kick to the chest. Oh. Omega catches the foot. Traps the kick. Oh, just a straight right jab to the face. And a second one. Omega embracing his inner Paul White. Danielson fighting back. Oh, kick right to the hamstring. Oh, the trigger by Kenny Omega. Oh, discus forearm. Rolling elbow strike by Bryan. What's Bryan going for here? Oh, regal suplex. 1, 2. Oh, Kenny Omega kicks out. Shades of William Regal with that inverted exploder suplex. Beautiful by Bryan Danielson. Crowd are going crazy, standing in appreciation for a great pro wrestling match. How yes. Listen to that crowd. Listen to look at Bryan Danielson. Look at his chest, look at his face. This is pro wrestling, guys. Pro wrestling end of. Now, have we heard anyone say anything about the time limit here? When did Bryan... I haven't heard anything from Justin Roberts or anything like that. Crowd are chanting AEW. Danielson going up top, but he's cut off by Kenny Omega. So Omega got planned. He's slow to get to the top. Oof. I think we maybe just heard something about the time. I didn't really hear it. No, Snapdragon. Oh my goodness. Snapdragon suplex from the top rope by Kenny Omega. That should be it. 2. Oh, and Bryan Danielson somehow kicked out. Snapdragon suplex from the top rope. Daniel Bryan did a moonsault, turned it inside out. My, oh my. Whew. I mean, what? It's half past the hour right now. So let's say this match started at 5 past. We're talking about 5 minutes left, guys. We're heading into the final stretch here. Crowd are chanting "Fight Forever." Kenny Omega's pointing up the gun signal. He's pointing it at Bryan Danielson, implying that a V-trigger is in the future. Here we go. Omega and another V-trigger to Bryan Danielson. That might be it. One-winged angel. One-winged angel. Oh, inverted poison rana. Bryan Danielson countered into a poison rana. Kenny Omega looks he's been dropped on his head. There's some separation here. Bryan Danielson might be going for that running knee. Another V-trigger. Oh, it misses. Danielson kick to the head. Bryan Danielson's firing up. He's going to try and step up. He's going to go for it. Oh, went for a running knee. Counted into a powerbomb. V-trigger. Bang. V-trigger by Kenny Omega. 1, 2. Oh, and Bryan Danielson kicks out at 2 once again. This match is delivering. This is nuts. Now what's Omega thinking? Crowder chatter, this is awesome. This is the first match on the show. Omega top rope. Here we go. Oh, Phoenix Splash. He misses. I didn't even know Omega could do a Phoenix Splash. I didn't know Omega had that in his arsenal. I can't remember the last time I could see that. Bryan Danielson looks like he's got a cut on his head, maybe. Oof. Bryan Danielson doing more kicks. Kicks to the chest. Kicks to the hamstring. Oof. Forearm. Danielson and Omega just beating the hell out of each other. Oh my goodness. Go for another one. Oh, another kick to the head. My God. Bryan Danielson's going crazy. He's firing up. And now he's just stamping on the face of Kenny Omega. He's got him. He's got to go for the label lock. Can he get the crossface locked in? He's got the omoplata locked in. He's going to try and hook the shoulder, hook the arm. Oh, Omega's got his foot on the rope. You've got to break the hold. Oh, another drop kick in the corner. He's going to go for it again. V-trigger once again. We've got 45 seconds left, it looks like. Ripcord rolling arm strike once again by Danielson. Oh, a knee to the face by Omega once again. They're in the deep water. There's only 30 seconds left, I think. Danielson just headbutting. Danielson telling Omega to get up. Oh, look at these chops. It's a time limit draw. It's a time limit draw. When out come the Young Bucks. It's a time limit draw, and here comes the super click. Adam Cole and the Young Bucks just throw Bryan Danielson off Kenny Omega. It's a time limit draw. That's what we said, wasn't it, guys? We said time limit draw was going to happen. Kenny Omega take each other. Adam Cole and the Young Bucks just hit a super kick on Bryan Danielson. Well, here come Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. Typical AEW fashion, there's a brawl that follows a match. How often do we see this? CM Punk's going to have his interview next, it looks like. Oh. What a match. Danielson and Kenny Omega. Time limit draw. Right, Grand Slam. What did everyone think of that? I mean, again, I think in fairness, that's probably what we all expected, right? We said as soon as they mentioned the 30-minute time limit, and this was very obvious that it was going to go to a time limit draw. I'm not surprised, certainly. One thing I will say, though, is just what an incredible match. I mean, the issue sometimes when it comes to dream matches, when it comes to matches that we hope about and we talk about, it's very difficult to live up to the hype and the fanfare of it. And in fairness, I think it absolutely lived up to the hype. There's no doubt about it. The crowd was red hot, which means a lot for it, certainly. But the crowd was red hot, and it delivered. I mean, absolutely delivered. Let's see what you guys say. D-Star says, just waiting for Jim Ross to say he's never seen anything like this in 25 years. Andrew Pollard says, I feel disorientated after that Poison Rana. Christ. He also says, what a match. Wow, what a match. Omega and Bryan just put on a pro wrestling clinic. Beautiful. Darth Thor says, it's how it had to end. Amazing match. I think that's probably right. I do agree with you. They had almost kind of booked themselves into a corner here where they wanted to ensure that they protected both Omega, who of course is their champion, but also they don't want to have Bryan Danielson losing on his first match in AEW. Some people may claim, it's a bullshit finish, or it's a silly finish, all that kind of stuff. I tend to almost disagree. I think it's probably what they had to do, and it's also a good reminder that time limits mean something in AEW. And WWE just doesn't do time limits, but time limits do mean something, and it adds to this sense of realism and legitimacy that sometimes matches will end in draws. If you don't get it done within the time period, then it is what it is, and they'll run it back. They'll do a pay-per-view. This, for me, this match maybe just made their future match mean more. Now, obviously, their first time meeting is significant, but that first time ever match means a lot. But I think the rematch now, and again, I'm not huge on rematch. I criticize WWE for doing it, but the rematch will mean more, I think. And I mean, what a match! I mean, what can you say? What's a match? Mick Thompson says, "I want to watch it, but want to watch match, but my butt it sucks." I have no idea what you're saying there, Mick. To be honest with you, But it looks like CM Punk's interview is about to come up next, which is exciting. And we're back on the air. That was quick. We can just do that. We can do that after every ad break. We can just chat, and then we can go straight back to the broadcast. Here comes CM Punk, and listen to that ovation. Here comes CM Punk. Here comes the best in the world. Of course, he's wrestling Powerhouse Hobbs on Rampage on Friday. Be sure to smash a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Crowd are singing along. CM Punk's come out. He's all smiles. How happy does he look? CM Punk can't dive into the crowd this time. The ramp's too big. If he dived into the crowd, he might actually really hurt someone. Jason says, I'm calling it now. Daniel or Bryan versus Kenny at Full Gear. No time limits. Winner gets the title. Possibility. CM Punk's here. It's just great to see CM Punk happy to be in pro wrestling once again. It's just, I was saying that the other day, like him being happy, him being in love with pro wrestling, him just being involved in pro wrestling again is just awesome. It's so awesome. CM Punk said, how do you follow that? I guess you don't. CM Punk's calling out Hobbs and Team Taz. Apologies if I'm being a bit quiet. I'm just trying to listen to what Punk's saying. Punk's saying that people have told him to be mad, and he says, but what have I got to be mad about right now? He said he'll come eventually. CM Punk says it's a love fest. CM Punk said Team Taz tried to take this all away from him. Be sure to smash a like on the video as well and subscribe, bottom right hand corner. If you're enjoying AEW Dynamite Grand Slam, smash a like on the video. CM Punk's all fired up right now. You love to see it. CM Punk's fired up. I love it. This is passionate CM Punk. Irish Dave says that was a good way to start. Wow. No doubt. No doubt. CM Punk says, you made a mistake and you let me live. And you slept on the legend of CM Punk. CM Punk says, Rampage, Grand Slam, Powerhouse Hobbs goes to sleep. He does just look so happy, doesn't he? And it's tremendous. There's Stephen Amell. Rampage, Grand Slam, Powerhouse Hobbs goes to sleep. Excellent promo by CM Punk during AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. Arguably one of his best since his AEW debut. I think that was one of the better promos that I think Punk's done. And you can tell that he certainly... This is what I was saying before when it comes to him. He just needs something to sink his teeth into. Which certainly that's what it felt like with that kind of promo, didn't it? And now I have to listen to this. The thing is, if you watch it on FITE TV, you have to just listen to the theme song for whatever show you're watching over and over again. So when you're watching Rampage on Friday, you have to listen 10 million times to "This is Rampage, this is Rampage," and it's just so tiring and so tiresome. It's the worst. Darth Thor says, "Love the new ramp." Andrew Pollard says, "CM Punk has not missed a single beat." Darth Thor says, "Mike battle Punk versus Kingston." I think surely it will happen eventually, right? This is what CM Punk's kind of saying, that with him being back, basically anything's a possibility. He can do anything, anything. Naomi Total Knockout says, "I hope MJF gets some cheers now that he's in New York." He'll get boos. He's total heel magnet. Of course he'll get boos. Darth Thor says, "Amel getting involved in Cody match now that I saw him." Well, he mentioned that he was going to be there. But I agree. He could certainly get involved. Or I just hope Malakai Black kicks his head off. I think that would just be, tremendous. I think that's what most people would want, right? I think most people would prefer something I just like Malakai Black just being... I get that a lot of people aren't into his kind of music that he comes out to, but I think it's tremendous. I really do. I think it's tremendous. But what's everyone thought of the show so far? I mean, it says a lot about a company, doesn't it? That they're sending Punk out there to cut a promo to be like, okay, guys, calm down because nobody's going to be able to follow that match. It speaks volumes, doesn't it? Absolutely speaks volumes. But that's CM Punk. That's the quality that Punk has or AEW rather has at their disposal, right? Incredible. And like everyone else, I'm with you. I'm kind of just coming down. Coming down after that opening match. Something else. Absolutely something else. Tremendous stuff. And we're barely getting started. That's the crazy thing. As we're just returning right now. Darthor says, Black Entrance Live was insane. It's one of my favorites. It really is. Naomi Total Knockout says, Malakai Black's theme song is awesome. I agree with you. But here we go. MJF is coming out next, which means it's MJF versus Bryan Pillman Jr. John says, Owen, do you think that Bray will debut tonight or next Wednesday? It will happen probably. I know there's been lots of discussion about possibly the Rochester next Wednesday. That could be the time. But I think it's probably October 29, to be honest with you. Naomi Total Knockout says, notice CM Punk said it's a long time since professional wrestling has been in New York City. Of course, because he's making reference to WWE being in Madison Square Garden a couple of weeks ago, isn't he? But they're not professional wrestling, they're sports entertainment. They say it themselves. Well, here comes Bryan Pillman Jr. If you look at Pillman's eyes, it looks like he's been crying. Can you imagine? It's been a lot for him. You got to compose yourself, Bryan. MJF's offering a handshake. That's totally going to happen, isn't it? Double leg takedown by Bryan Pillman Jr. Pillman forearm shots to MJF in the corner. Given that it's nearly an hour into the broadcast and we have several big matches to go, I don't see this one going very long. Pillman floats over. Beautiful arm drag. Shades of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Let's see if we'll get that reference from Jim Ross. Hip toss. Big back body drop by Pillman. Easily the biggest match of Bryan Pillman's young career so far, right? Easily. And just does a chop to Pillman and just fires up. Oof, what a chop to MJF and another one. Biggest match. Well, Bryan Pillman's playing a bit of mind games with MJF right now, outsmarting him. And credit to AEW, because again, people give him, what a slap. MJF just slapped the taste out of his mouth. Oh my goodness. Oh, MJF just got slapped back by Bryan Pillman Jr. Jeez. MJF just stomping Bryan Pillman Jr. in the corner. Irish whip. Oh, turns him inside out with a kind of flip into the corner. Ooh, MJF just stomped on the hand. Naomi Total Knockout says, who do you think's winning this match? I think it's MJF. Roll up. Oof. Kicks out. Again, backslide by Pillman. MJF kicks out once again. Oh. MJF just slams Brian Pillman's arm right into the canvas. As we go to commercial break, which on FITE TV means I carry on. I can put a poll in the chat, actually. Who leaves victorious? Is it MJF or Bryan Pillman Jr.? So there we go. We've got a poll going in the chat. You can say who you think is going to win this one. Whether it's MJF or Bryan Pillman Jr. You can see it right there. Oof. Hammerlock reverse suplex. So obviously we've still got some big matches to come on this show. Again, we've got an hour to go. We still have to come. We have, of course, Malakai Black versus Cody Rhodes. We have Sting and Darby Allin versus FTR. And we have the Women's World Championship, which is the main event, which to me says that you never know. You never know. We could see a title change tonight. Certainly is a possibility we could see that. Let's do a quick subscriber check, see where we're at. We're kind of at 5,191. Let's see. I mean, we're only nine subscribers away from 5,200. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. See if we can get to 5,200. You could be the 5,200 subscriber, which would be tremendous. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. As we're already on the road to 6,000. We only got to 5,000 a couple of weeks ago. So it's amazing. Really appreciate everyone that's been subscribing recently. Do daily videos talking about WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling. Do watch-alongs. For pay-per-view events, we're going to be doing a watch-along of Extreme Rules at the weekend and a post-show. Of course, we're going to be doing a watch-along tonight. We're doing a watch-along right now for Grand Slam. We're going to be doing a post-show as well. Debating whether to do a watch-along and post-show for Rampage. It would be very late for me, it must be said. Very, very late. Because Rampage doesn't start until 3 a.m. for me. So we'd be talking about watching it until 5, then doing a post-show, which would probably be 5 to like 6 a.m. in the morning. Which would be dedication, certainly, wouldn't it? Naomi Total Knockout says, awesome that AEW made a women's match the main event. I agree. Long time coming. First time since the Dynamite St. Patrick's Day Slam earlier this year. John G says, I think Bryan Pillman Jr. is going to win. I think MJF is going to get the win, unfortunately. Darthor says, Britt has had the title for 5 months. I expect Britt to win, but would be surprised if Has it been that long? Surely not. It hasn't been that long. Britt won the title at Double or Nothing, which is May, right? 4 months. I suppose what's the difference between 4 and 5, but we're talking, yeah. Maybe it has. May, June, July, August, September, 4 months. super kick to the chest by Brian Pillman Jr. Pillman just smashing MJF's head off the top turnbuckle. Beautiful power slam by Brian Pillman. Oh, MJF kicks out. MJF grabbing Julia Hart on the outside. Oh, MJF with a clothesline after using Julia Hart as a shield. What a dastardly man. What a dastardly man MJF is. What a heel. Now Julia Hart giving him the business. MJF said to give her a kiss, and she shoved her. Or MJF just grabbed the arm of Julia Hart. Oh. Baseball slide drop kick by Pillman to MJF. I'd be a bit careful given the circumstances. Current circumstances do that. Pillman working like a proper babyface in this one, isn't it? Springboard. Oh, goes for air. Pillman is transferred. Look at that. Beautiful counter into the salt of the earth. Fujiwara arm breaker. This will be it. And Brian Pillman Jr. taps out. And MJF gets the victory. Told ya. MJF gets the win in a pretty fun match, actually. Good performance by Brian Pillman Jr. Expected that MJF would get the win after he lost to Jericho, of course. He's got snot dripping out of his nose, which is disgusting. Wardlow, who's an unbelievably sharp-dressed man, by the way. Be sure to smash a like on the video, subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Alex Marvez is with Jericho and Hager. What a bird by Hager. He said men of the year, more like boys of the week. Oh. Jericho's babyface now, which kind of does feel a bit strange, doesn't it? Chris Jericho said he's ready to snack on some MMA beef heads. Takes all sorts, I guess, guys. George Kenny says, hello, Mr. Owen. Bad internet connection, but trying to watch. Uh-oh. Lights out can mean one person. I think it's time for Malakai Black. I love this entrance. It's so badass. Love this entrance. There he is. Time for Malakai. I just saw this entrance is just so good. So good. Honestly, his entrance is just so good. It's so tremendous, isn't it? It's quite different because AEW entrances are shot usually fine, but this is one of these AEW entrances that actually has a real good amount of production quality into, which you don't usually see from AEW. Although it's in red light at the moment, which just feels like a bit of The Fiend, doesn't it? Red light of doom. We'll put a poll up in the chat. Who leaves victorious? I can never spell. No, who leaves victorious? Right. Can hear it. Cody gets booze. Can I tell you, Cody gets booze? Because people don't want the Codyverse. I'm telling you. I hope we don't have, like, as well, the Cody Rhodes Snoop Dogg song. There he comes out again. Dressed up like Evel Knievel this time. Oh, yeah, he's got Snoop Dogg version of it. Oh, dear. Got enough pyro, certainly. You got Arn Anderson out there once again. He's got his game plan, or as CM Punk would say, his Waffle House menu. Brandy's back. So Brandy Rhodes is back. Good for her. She gets lots of people talking trash about her. It was a slightly mixed. Entrance at AEW. Oh man, look at Malakai's blacks. Look at the contacts he's got on. I love it. So again, we should have Malakai Black should beat him in a quicker amount of time. He won't. But if AEW had balls, they would do it. Malakai Black versus Cody Rhodes. AEW Dynamite. Cody Rhodes goes for a single leg. Doesn't work out. Cody rolls through, picks the ankle of Malakai Black. Shoved to the face by Malakai, and a forearm. Another forearm by Cody Rhodes. Oh, Malakai back just sweeps the legs. Look how quick he is. I'm a big Malakai Black fan. I was a fan of him as Aleister Black in WWE because his work's it's different. Well, beautiful springboard into a moonsault off the second rope, and he sits down. I tell you what, Malakai Black's black eye is getting bigger. Brandi Rhodes is now sitting in the ring and giving Malakai Black the finger. What the hell was that? And Malakai Black just laughed. He's going to go for, a version of an octopus. But again, did you hear the boos that Brandi got when she got in and sat down in front of him? Their office. If your office, you got heat, brother. Oof. Malakai just lands onto the entrance ramp. I think part of the difficulty for Malakai Black in AEW, look, you could hear it. You could hear he's getting booed. He's absolutely getting booed. You could hear it. Cody goes to the top rope. Oh, Malakai hits a leaping knee strike. Don't know if he got him, though. Must be said. Malakai looks like he's got a bit of a... might hurt his leg. He's favouring his knee, certainly. I think he's fine. Jim Ross. It's amazing that so many fans here have a vested interest in Malakai Black. It's less of a interest in Malakai Black, but a lot of people like him. But in reality, it's more of a not hatred of Cody Rhodes. That's not fair. It's more of a case of they're just tired. They're just tired. And again, we've seen it in the past. And there's no doubt Cody Rhodes is a star. He is a big name, obviously. But it's this bash you over the head. Cody Rhodes is a big star. You know he's a big star. You know that, right? He's got his own show. He's got his reality show. You saw his entrance there. And enough part. It was like Guy Fawkes night, like the 4th of July, when he came out. Tim Carpenter says Cody is the AEW version of Cena. I wouldn't go that far. I would say people more see it as like a Jeff Jarrett situation in TNA back in the day. Cody's office, he's an EVP, and just his stories just feel very self-serving. You know, I think that's the thing. They feel very self-serving. Like, for instance, the Young Bucks were the tag team champions for nearly a year, but at no point did you feel like, they're booking themselves to be really strong in that position. It was a case of, no, they're the best, and they were still involved in major storylines and helped get people over. It doesn't feel like that with Cody Rhodes. I think also as well, it's Cody, how he does a lot of interviews and stuff like that, and a lot of interviews comes across like a real dick. Oh, kick to the chest by Malakai Black. I think Malakai's going to try and do his thing when he lifts up the face with his foot. He's another one, man. He looks just so happy in AEW, doesn't he? Oh, goes for that spinning heel kick. Misses it. Cody ducks under. Oh, another knee to the face. Oh, Meteora. Meteora by Malakai. I've literally been sat in this chair all day. Cody flips Black over. Oh, 2 count. Just kicks out. What a kick to the face. That was it. Oh, Cody rolls out to the outside of the ring. Malakai Black trying to pick him up, but Cody's dead weight. Malakai Black trying to lift up Cody. He can't. Cody's knocked out. Just count him out. Take the win. Cody rolls back into the ring. Cover. And Cody gets his foot on the bottom rope. And again, fans boo. They would prefer to see Cody lose. I tell you what, I hope for the sake of AEW that Cody doesn't win because the crowd will be pissed. Or if he does win, they've got something planned. Because if they don't, they're just like WWE. They wouldn't really know the audience. AEW have been very good at giving the audience what they want and understanding what they want. If Cody wins this match, you could argue they're not giving the fans what they want. Or not telling the story that they want, that the audience wants them to tell. Oh, Dragon Screw leg whip in between the ropes. And a crowd of booing. The crowd of booing. But how could they be booing Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes is a big star. He's a big star. You know he's a big star, right? Cody's a big star. Cody trying to fire up. And this is the thing. If they try and justify it as well, like Cody's this Cena-like figure of, he gets a polarizing response or he gets a mixed response. It's just so BS. It's so BS when they say stuff like that. Crossroads. Oh, rolls free. Malakai Black. Well, Cody kicks him in the back of the knee. Oh. Darth Thor says, maybe one of the first times they wouldn't give the fans what they want, double turn. They could do a double turn, absolutely. Oh, Cody goes for another crossroads. Malakai Black gets out with a knee to the head. Springboard Cody cutter by Cody Rhodes. Oh, crossroads. 1, 2. Oh, Malakai kicks out. You had me worried there for a second. And the crowd does a massive pop. Crowd pops massive for Malakai Black kicking out. What's Arn Anderson doing on the apron? I don't know what Arn Anderson's doing. Dude can't get round the rope either. Arn slipped off the apron. What's he doing? Oh, it was a botch. He wasn't meant to fall down. How was that? It was bizarre. Arn Anderson shoving Cody, saying, get back in the ring. So we might have an Arn Anderson turn. I don't know if Arn was meant to fall off when he, fell over the apron. But he did. Cody Rhodes going for some body shots to Malakai Black. I was going to say, I think he's going to go... I thought he was going to go for Mist. Black Mist. 2. Malakai Black wins. Good. I thought Malakai had some mist because he went under the ring. And then, Cody Rhodes is teeing off of him. You could see him giving it this. What a shot that was of Malakai Black on the stage, by the way. That was tremendous. Right result, though. Certainly right result. Black sprays black mist into a hint at an Arn Anderson during AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. That was a good match, though, and I think, again, obviously, the right outcome, certainly. Don't know why my FITE TV has stopped working, which is concerning. But that was a fun match. Although my only concern is that it feels like they're going that Arn is going to be the one to turn and not Cody. But it was the right result. That's the right result. We'll leave with that. It was the right result. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Smash a like on the video as well. We're only 9 subscribers away from 5,200. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. You could be the 5,200th subscriber. Not that that means anything. I wish I had a prize to give you, but I do not, unfortunately. But you would have my enduring gratitude and thanks if you are the 5,200th subscriber. So you can do that by clicking the bottom right-hand corner, or just smash a like on the like button as well. But yeah, Malakai Black gets the win, which was, but it was tremendous. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy the visual of like Malakai Black just laying there laughing as well. That was quite fun. But overall, I've seen some people, I can just see on social media now, some people are saying that maybe it wasn't the best match. Arn Anderson falling down was unfortunate, and he looked, yeah, it wasn't great. He just legit, you could tell that he was struggling to get round that thing, and it just didn't work. It didn't work. I don't think that match lived up to what people had hoped. Yeah, maybe it didn't work out the way, but look, it was the right result. Darthor says, running out of time. Well, they have the Sting Darby Allin match left, and they have the women's championship match. They got half an hour left, so I think they got plenty of time. I mean, let's be honest, a Sting match is not going more than 10 minutes. So it'll go 10 minutes. Then you've got a couple of other commercials, and then the women's main event. So I think that's where we're going. George Kenny says, I thought for sure Arn was going to turn on Cody. It might be coming in the future, or maybe Cody turns on Arn. Cody needs to do something different. If Cody Rhodes has, puts the ego aside, one would think he would go backstage and go, you know what? The babyface deal ain't working anymore. That crowd don't want me. I've got to do something different. I know I'm this giant star. You know Cody's a big star, right? He's a massive, massive star. Would think that he would do something different. Whether or not they do that, I don't know. But here comes FTR. FTR with Tully Blanchard at their side, as always. Okay, well, Dax Harwood's got a hell of a limp on him. On his leg that he wears a knee brace on. They're wearing some gear inspired by the New World Order, is FTR. It's pretty damn cool. Here comes the icon. Here comes Sting. Look at Sting. He's got some different face paint on. He's got smudged face paint. He did that in Impact a lot. He would have like the smeared face paint. Man, listen to that pop for Darby Allin. Guy's over as how. Look at Darby Allin. Sting 62. How crazy is that? He looks great. Let's be said, he looks great. Darby Allin. It's nuts that it's 2021 and Sting's wrestling. I mean, it's awesome as well. Fair play to him. Dax Harwood and Darby Allin start the match. Basically, the way this match is going to go is that Darby's going to take all the heat. Sting's going to make the comeback and they'll win. That's what's going to happen. Mark James says, is this live in England at 2:25 a.m.? You're damn right it is, Mark. You're damn right. Dragonstorm1234 says, us Impact Wrestling fans remember Joker Sting, a better version of the Joker than Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix, mind. Big statement. Big statement. Joker Sting was pretty badass, though. Sting locks up with Cash Wheeler and throws him into the ropes. You know for a fact that FTR are buzzing as well for this. They love it. Dax distracted Sting, and now FTR are attacking the Icon. So maybe Sting's going to be taking the heat. There's no way he would. Sting with a couple of clotheslines. And yeah, you know, he does a sort of Sting chops. Sting chops, all that kind of stuff. Just he took up a light. Couple of body slams by Sting. Stinger splash. Oh. Dax moves Cash out of the way. You do kind of just sort of brace yourself. You do brace yourself every time Sting takes a bump or any kind of offense. You're like, you know. Snapmare by Dax Harwood. It looks like Sting's full-on wrestling a match here, which is kind of crazy, which is what I would not expect here. Again, Sting's 62. He's wrestling a proper match. This is nuts. Sting just fell down and headbutted Dax Harwood right in the balls. Sting tagged in Darby. Maybe that's what Sting's doing. Just comes in, does a couple of spots, tags him Darby. Darby Allin's so quick, it's outrageous. Shotgun dropkick by Darby in the corner. Bang. Coffin splash, hits the ropes. Middle rope, another coffin splash. Sends FTR out the ring. Darby's going to go for a coffin drop to the outside. Oh, he gets caught by FTR. Oh, just slams Darby on the apron. My God. Oof, what a chop by Cash Wheeler. Of course, you've got this, and then you've got your main event, which is for the AEW Women's World Championship, which is Ruby Soho versus Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. This is the thing as well when it comes to FTR, like, so they left WWE, and they were winning tag titles at WWE all the time. And WWE had said to them, as they were leaving, like, we'll make you the tag champions again. And they went, well, it doesn't matter. We've won it all, and you don't care about tag team wrestling. And they turned down a lot of money. They probably, to be honest, accepted less money to come to AEW. They're wrestling Sting in front of 20,000 fans. Right call. Obviously, right call. Code Red, beautiful. Ooh. Didn't really get all of it. Code Red, though, by Darby Allin on Dax Harwood. Darby hits the ropes now. Abdominal stretch by Dax Harwood. They're going to do classic, old-fashioned tag team wrestling. They did the big switch, no tag. Bryce Remsburg gets distracted. On the roll-up, the referee's distracted. That's classic pro wrestling. You love to see it. I grew up on stuff like that. Just to kind of just BS. That's proper tag team wrestling. Utilization of the ref. All this kind of stuff. Tully Blanchard got the wipeout once again. He's going to try and wipe off the face paint. Oh, beautiful uppercut by Dax Harwood. Hits the rope. Darby floats over. He's so quick. Goes for a tag for Sting. Nearly there. Fingertips. Oof, doesn't make it. Ducks under. This time in comes the Stinger. Oh, just nearly took Cash Wheeler's head off. He clotheslined him out the ring. Oh, my God. Spine buster by the Icon. Cover. Oof. You notice when Sting does his matches now, he's got gradually more and more active, hasn't he? Oh, uppercut. Sting goes to the outside. Crowd shouting, "You still got it," because you have to every time an old person gets in the ring. They're gonna go for that spike pile driver. Oof! Sting just shoves. What's Sting doing? He's going up to the top rope. Oh, Sting crossbody. 62. 1, 2. Oh, it kicks out. It's just, this guy's insane. Oh, hangs up Sting. Schoolboy. Oh, Sting kicks out. I keep saying this. It still just blows my mind that Sting is like wrestling at 62. It's nuts. They're killing it. He's going for a tombstone. No way. He's going for a tombstone. No way. Oh, Sting manages to counter. He's telling Darby to go up. Oh. Darby went for a coffin drop. Cash Wheeler. They were going for a coffin drop, Scorpion Death Drop combo. That was tremendous. Sting a splash to FTR in the corner. He's going to go for a pair. Sting a splash. Wait, Dax Harwood's got a steel chair. Scorpion's Death Drop to Cash Wheeler. Sting's going to go for the splash of the chairs in the corner. There's a chair there. The crowd, they don't. Oh, Sting put on the brakes. And Cash Wheeler goes into it. Great pop. Oh, and a right hand by Sting to Tully Blanchard. Schoolboy roll up. Oh, Cash Wheeler kicks out. Oh, they're stealing it, brother. This is great. I love it. Scorpion Deathlock. Sting at 62. He's popping the crowd. 20,000 in Arthur Ashe Stadium. He's got to sit down. Cash Wheeler are pulling them out. What's Darby doing? Darby. Oh my goodness. Coffin drop right on the apron of Cash. And Dax Harwood taps out. What a match. Oh, tremendous. That was good. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. That really was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the hell out of that. I mean, I'm happy to admit that I was wrong when it came to Sting. I was not keen on him wrestling when he came back in earlier this year because of the injuries and his age. But happy to say that I was wrong. He just continues to defy logic. I mean, how fun was that? It was tremendous. Oh, look at that. That coffin drop by Darby Allin is nuts. He broke his arm. Tremendous match at AEW Grand. The New York crowd loved it. The package, by the way, of with Ruby Soho and Britt Baker last week on Rampage was tremendous. So what do we think we're going to get here? Do we think we're going to get a new women's champion? Darth Thor says, amazing show so far. Mark James says, Sting wins. Mark says, you're about a minute behind me. Where in England are you? I'm in Orlando, Florida. I'm in an undisclosed location, Mark. Darth Thor says, remember the first powerbomb Sting took till now? It's crazy to think about. It is. Like, it really is crazy to think about when it comes to Sting. Like, again, he took that powerbomb and everyone was like, if it came on just do cinematic matches. And then he did the cinematic match and he was like, actually, that's harder than doing a proper match. I might as well just actually have an actual normal match, which is what he's been doing. So we're in a another commercial break. I think they were showing some like one of the roads to the top commercials. Be sure to smash a like on the video if you haven't already. And subscribe button right hand corner. 9 subscribers away from 5,200. So you could possibly be the 5,200. Only need 9. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe button right hand corner. We'll be doing a brief Dynamite post show as well tonight, which don't usually do Dynamite watch alongs or stuff like that. But this felt like just a very special show, didn't it? Very special show. But I just forgot that I was on stream. I was just watching my phone. So how was everyone feeling the show? I mean, it's flown by, hasn't it? We're in the final stretch, final 20 minutes. AEW Women's World Championship match is up next. It's kind of interesting that they decided to close with this one and open with Danielson Omega. And I would assume also it's because they knew they were doing a time limit draw with Omega versus Danielson. You don't want to end the show with a time limit draw, do you? So it makes a lot of sense that they would decide, you know what, they would probably end the show with a decisive victory. I think that's probably the reason they've decided to end with this women's title match, and it's good. Good, of course, it should be. It's a title match. It's a world championship match. Surely a world championship match should be main event in any show, irrespective of the gender, right? So that's a good thing. Very happy to see that. But it's been, no doubt, a tremendous show. I tell you what, it's been a long day for yours truly. A long day for yours truly, but But do we think anything could happen in this main event apart from a title change? Obviously, could we see someone debut? Could we see who would this person be? I don't know. Deonna Purrazzo. Imagine we saw Deonna Purrazzo show up. That would be tremendous. They're running to the card for Rampage Grand Slam, which of course we'll see Powerhouse Hobbs versus CM Punk. I can't wait for that one. Moxley and Kingston versus Suzuki-gun. Big show on Friday for Rampage Grand Slam. George Kelly says, I remember Sting when he first broke into the Blade Runners. Very first time I saw that too, I knew they would be big. Well, of course, Sting, Steve Borden, and Jim Hellwig, Sting, and the Ultimate Warrior. Women's World Championship main event. Here we go. Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho. Here she comes, Ruby Soho. Great entrance theme as well. I saw some just ridiculous stuff on social media. I saw some ridiculous stuff. I saw that Ruby Soho had done an interview. She did an interview where she basically said that she felt more at home. She felt more at home in AEW than she did in WWE. And some of the people were just vicious, going, "Oh, you just didn't get over. You just went over. You went over. You weren't popular." It's like, geez. Let's face it, though. Britt Baker, D.M.D. She's one of the most popular characters in all of AEW. There's Reba, Jamie Hayter. But if you were ever not sure that Britt Baker is a big deal, if you were not sure how WWE, and I sound like Jim Ross, how AEW views Britt Baker, the main event of the Grand Slam edition of Dynamite, possibly the most viewed ever episode of Dynamite, is being main evented by Britt Baker. That's a big deal. It's a very big deal. And again, if you're Ruby Soho, like, let's be honest here. She got fired by WWE in whenever it was June, and now she's main eventing in front of 20,000 people in New York City. Unbelievable. But it's main event time. Crowd of red hot, by the way, as well. Ruby Soho and D.M.D. chants, dueling chants. Britt Baker versus who leaves as champion? Standing switch go behind by Ruby Soho. They did announce, by the way, a TNT Championship match set for next week. It's going to be Miro versus Sammy Guevara. Darth Thor says, thinking 1.6 million for the viewership. I think certainly 1.5. Maybe just after just over 1.4. Jason says, Justin Roberts just said 60-minute time limit. Could they run overtime? Probably unlikely, to be honest with you, Jason. That they say that for every title match. I would think it won't go over TV. They could have an overrun. That's a possibility, but I'm not sure. Ruby Soho crossbody takes out Rebel and Jamie Hayter. Oh, a super kick by Britt Baker. Oh my goodness. Swinging net breaker by Britt Baker to Ruby Soho on the outside of the ring. Man, oh man. Picture in picture is coming, or on FITE TV, just the coverage is continuing, obviously. Ruby Soho just looks out of it. I like Britt Baker just beat the hell out of Ruby Soho at ringside. Just two guys just sitting there. Vonda Hardwick says, who won the match between Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega? It was a time limit draw, Vonda. There was no winner. So we're going to have that match again in the future, it feels like, at some point. Beautiful butterfly suplex by Britt Baker to Ruby Soho. I guarantee as well, there's going to be people that are like, I should have started with this match, not ended with it. But let's face it, there would have been the time limit draw isn't the way to end this show. The way to end this show is with a victory. What is going to be interesting, though, is which... it's going to be interesting to see which show is better. Whether Dynamite Grand Slam or Rampage Grand Slam is going to be better. Because I could certainly see a possibility that Rampage Grand Slam might be the better show. Mark James says, do you have American commercial where it goes picture-in-picture? I do not. On FITE TV. So it just carries on. Just listen to Excalibur, Jim Ross, and Shivani carry on with their commentary. Baker throws Soho into the turnbuckle. Contrasting chants once again of Ruby Soho and D.M.D. Cravat by Baker and some knee strikes to the face. Cover by Baker. Ruby Soho kicks out. Ruby Soho looks like she's going to fight back into this. Oh, forearm by Britt Baker. I went for a spinning neck breaker and a Sahido suplex by Ruby Soho. Thrust kick to the face by Britt Baker too there. Of course, remember with Ruby Soho, it was 20. She was out of action for like over a year, wasn't she? She had both. She had surgery on both of her shoulders because she came back in like early 2020, I think it was. Because I remember she interrupted Liv Morgan on Raw, didn't she? Headbutts by Ruby Soho. Rose through or went for a lockjaw. Interesting, we'll see how people go in terms of posting spoilers on social media as well. We won't do it here on the channel. Oh, beautiful sling blade. But I'm not gonna be talking about spoilers here on the channel, especially when we're talking about Rampage airing just this Friday. It's no point. Rebecca put her glove on and then told the camera to F you. Oh, slingshot. Britt Baker into the corner. Beautiful step up enziguri by Ruby Soho. Ruby goes to the top rope. Oh, beautiful senton. Cover. Oh, Britt Baker kicks out. Of course, Ruby Soho became the number 1 contender by winning the Casino Battle Royale and All Out. Rolls through. Oh, big kick to the face. Britt goes to her again. Now Fisherman's neckbreaker. Oh. That's me. Oh. It's nearly 3 a.m. in the morning. How can I get like pollen? How can I have like allergies at 3 a.m. in the morning? Anything's possible, folks. Britt Baker seemingly in control of this one. What are they planning here? So Ruby's going to try and suplex Britt Baker to the outside. That's not going to happen. What are they going for? Gonna go for an air raid crash. Oh, that was nasty. Avalanche air raid crash. 2. Oh, Ruby Soho kicks out. Well, it's when you get to times like this, you start looking at the clock, don't you? Going, oh, they're running out of time. They're running out of time. Oh, it was nasty. Ruby Soho is such a great seller. Takes great bumps. Jim Ross calling them Jezebels. Stomp. Oh, stomp by Britt Baker. That would be it. 2. Oh, Ruby kicks out again. Unbelievable. Roll up. 2. Oh, Britt Baker kicks out. Oh, no future kick by Ruby Soho. No future to Rebel. Jamie Hayter. Oh, hangs up Ruby Soho. And now Britt Baker. Lockjaw's going to be locked in. It's in. Lockjaw's locked in. Ruby Soho taps out. Britt Baker wins and retains the Women's Championship. Britt Baker retains, which I think was to be expected. But that was a lot of fun, wasn't it, guys? 2-hour Rampage coming on Friday as well. What a night. What a historic night. Tremendous stuff. Right, guys. Smash a like on the video, subscribe, and I'll speak to you again very, very